I wish you guys could taste it and smell it. Okay, this is the soup. You see that there? I hope it looks good. But see, I like it
really good.
Yeah, very good. So Stephanie and Emily,
drink yours.
what is your go-to breakfast? And then we're gonna have to check the potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Minutes.
Okay.
We still have a little.
Yep.
What's your go-to breakfast?
Oh, my go-to. You know, I used to eat breakfast a lot. I don't know why I don't. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I don't have that locked in 9 to 5 job. But tell you the truth, my go-to breakfast would be either a poached egg or like one egg that is scrambled and a piece of whole wheat or one of your favorite toast, one that's toast to go with the egg. And instead of a donut or something like that, I love homemade jam. I used to make jam. So that other piece of toast would be, you know, a little butter and little jam. That's really my go-to. But I would say my more luxury breakfast would be French toast, pancakes, waffles.
But you also make a mean frittata.
Oh yeah, and if I'm definitely serving for my family or a big group of people, I usually make a frittata over a strata. Now, what's the difference between the two? One has bread, one doesn't. But I like them because, you know, like a pizza, you can, you know, you can add the vegetables to it. You can do whatever you want. You just have to make sure that the egg doesn't get too watered down or adheres to it. The one thing I've learned over time on doing like scrambled eggs or frittata or anything is that if you put spinach in it, I lightly dust it with flour. I don't know if you guys do that, because that way the egg has something to adhere to instead of just sliding off of the spinach. So when you have like, I don't know, a slippery vegetable or something like that, or a smooth one, or a wet one, I usually just dust it with flour because you don't want it to be too floury to cake it. But I definitely do that with spinach. So the egg has something to adhere to. So the spinach is throughout the thing, and it's baked within the egg.
And you could use different flours based on your dietary needs. So
I don't know if there's a different way to cook with different types of flour. In fact, this recipe that I'll go on Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen on my YouTube channel is a apple pear cranberry tart. Well, I thought I'd use half all-purpose flour and this other flour that I got from our local farmer's market, but it hasn't been fully processed. It's still a good flour. It's more hearty, grainy, or whatever it is. But I have to learn how to cook with that because my crust turned out to be a flop, really. Because when I rolled it out, because I did what I typically do with just all-purpose flour. So I rolled it out and everything, but it was like drier. It was like crumbly. And I couldn't fold it over because it would crack. And I thought, okay, I'm either doing something wrong here or I just have to bake with this flour and learn something more.
That's a good idea.
So I had to redo it. I said it on my video that I did. It's like, well, you know, sometimes you try things and you get rid of it and you go back to what you know.
Over.
Yeah. So anyway.
Let's check the roux.
Oh yes. We put the clam juice within the sauteed vegetables, and we added the potatoes. So we're going to see if the potatoes are soft enough to really get this, you know, this whole dish going here. Well, here, let me get a fork. Oh yeah, perfect. To me, I use red potatoes for this. Some people may use russet potatoes, which is fine. I think with russet potatoes, if you cook them too long, especially in the soup, they may have a tendency to break down and become too mushy and part of, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, we need the thyme and the parsley. I'll get that. I'll do the thyme. You can do the parsley. How about that?
Sounds good.
I just tasted my potato and I think I have to add a little more salt. But that's the one thing I think when you do soup, because I used the clam juice. And so definitely you start off with some salt when you saute your vegetables, unless you want your onions to be browned, you know, caramelized and stuff like that. Because when you do salt, it draws out the water from that vegetable and you're kind of, I don't know, steaming it, or, you know, it's in too much liquid. So usually I just do unsalted butter, just a little bit of butter or olive oil. But anyway, for this, I did add a little bit of salt because I don't need to caramelize the onions.
And we didn't know how much salt was in the clam juice.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
So it's season after you.
Yeah, you taste and season as you go along. But I'm using fresh thyme here. And so I think when you use dry, I think 1 teaspoon, maybe a little more may work. Depends on, you know, how seasoned you want it. Oh, I don't know.
2 tablespoons of parsley.
Well, what I was thinking about, Okay, what other question? How about, do you guys have any other questions on the fly besides the ones you sent? No?
What was your costume this past weekend?
Oh, yeah. You know, that's a lot of people have asked me, you know, now that I'm off the farm, you know, why do I still do this and stuff? And, you know, I tell people, I said, you know, I've lived on this farm for 30 years. I've been a major part of pumpkin season too. You know, it's just like any job. There's some people that are in the forefront. There's some people that do a lot behind the scenes. I would say Matt does a lot behind the scenes, you know, helping get all that done. And I'm out there, you know, y'all come to my, you know, farm, my home and stuff. You might have seen it on TV, but this is not a set. This is my home. And so I really enjoy, I always answer a question in a roundabout way. I'm so sorry about that. So I really like, even though I'm off the farm, I love meeting people. People come from all over to
list.
Yeah, to
all over the world
to come to our farm. And I'm like, how can someone not be here? So I'm out there, you know, greeting everyone. I used to only wear a costume like the last weekend or the last day of pumpkin season in the early years. But lately, in the last several years, I'm like, you know what? I want to change it up because it's kind of fun for me. And then some of the kids get a kick out of it. I'm not like a witch or any of that, you know, gory stuff. It's pretty tame. And so this past weekend, my daughter-in-law, Isabel, Jacob's wife, wanted to do the 70s. So I dressed up in a 70s outfit. Then I was a pirate on Saturday, because a lot of it has to do with what kind of weather are we having. And then yesterday, it was supposed to rain, but it didn't. But I was Minnie Mouse. So a lot of kids got a kick out of that, you know, especially the girls and the boys. And because, you know, if they've been to Disneyland and, you know, stuff like that. But I've been a scarecrow. I have been, what else was I?
Sports figure you had on.
Well, no, that was last year though. I was a cheerleader, butterfly.
You haven't done your steampunk yet?
What was I last weekend now?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh my goodness. How can you forget so easily? Scarecrow, 70s, cheerleader, butterfly.
That's it. You've only been open 2 weekends, right?
No, but cheerleader? What were the other 2 that weekend? Okay, this is sad. This is so sad. I have to go in my camera and look at the actual picture.
Look on her social media. She posted
Oh my goodness. Anyway, different costumes, I guess. That is crazy.
I can't remember either. I know you've posted pictures. But
what was the second weekend now? A scarecrow was one of them. Oh, Wonder Woman. I was Wonder Woman. But anyway, you get the point. And
yeah, people from all over come because where else can you go from a reality TV show and meet the actual people
in their home,
or at their home, and meet them and actually take a picture or talk, or yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. You guys have been doing this for
20 years at least.
20 years.
Pumpkin season for 20 years.
So Amy's kind of the front person. That's where people want to meet her. They, like she said, Matt's kind of doing the back stuff, and Amy's the kind of the anchor, the hostess.
Well, you know what? One person yesterday came to the farm, and she was there in the very beginning of pumpkin season when my kids were really young. Well, we've been doing this for 20 years. We got to be doing it more than that because my boys are 31. We probably were doing this at least 25 years. But back in the early days, I had a little bell out there. We had a little pumpkin patch and gourds we planted, but you know, people got to almost run all over the property. No way could we have that now. There's way too many people. And so anyway, she was there at the very beginning. She remembers walking around the whole farm, and I'm like, man, that was a long time ago.
Wow.
So I have fun doing it. And the stories I get to hear, you know, being on the show, it's a great way to, I have an opportunity to really interact with people. You know, I was like, why do you watch the show? Like, you know, was it just purely entertainment? Or so occasionally I get some really neat, I get to hear some really neat stories. And, you know, like anything else, I do speaking engagements, and I just talk about my life, what are key elements that have, you know, got me from there to here, and about the show and stuff like that. But anyway, I remember speaking at this one college, and you know, college kids, you never know the impact you'll have with them. But this one girl came up to me afterwards. This one young girl came up to me afterwards. She was struggling in college, and I don't know exactly what her situation was, but she was like, I wasn't going to come to your speak. You know, I was ready to quit college. You know, she was probably depressed and it wasn't going well or whatever. And she goes, I am so glad I came because you've inspired me. What you said about this and this and that, about, you know, yeah, life is tough. You've got challenges, but it's not about that out there. It's about, you know, what's going on in here. You got to figure that out and keep plugging away, because if you give up here, it's not like out there is going to be any easier. So try and figure out what's going to help you to overcome some of those challenges. Or, yeah, I can't remember specifically what I told her or what I said in the speech. But I thought, I don't care if I did not touch any other person in that audience, but I thought I touched one and it made a difference in that one person's life. And that's how I think of, you know, what you guys do in your own life. We all want to like make an impact somewhere, but I think also we have certain unrealistic expectations. And I thought, no, man, I touched one person. You never know who you're going to touch or impact until later. And that's why the whole big thing is, now I feel like a mom and I'm preaching, oh dear. My big motto now is, you know, we're all MVPs, but it's not most valuable player, but it's you matter, you have value and purpose. And we're always looking out there from other people to get that. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes you have to, but ultimately you got to believe it yourself, because you can't rely on this stuff out here. You've got to know that you matter, you have value and purpose. And not everyone can be a CEO. There's going to be some people that are great at custodians, but that's great. If that's what you're good at and that's what you like and that's what you can do, you know, honor that. So anyway,
okay,
back to cooking.
Back to cooking.
Okay, so here I'm doing this. Okay, we added that stuff to this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what's happening. All right,
it's ready to go.
Yes, it is. And now we are going to add in. We're gonna add in the roux. It's very thick because that'll be helping our soup get thick. So we're just gonna pour this right on in here.
You can use the roux for a lot of things. You can make it for macaroni and cheese, all different types of soups to thicken and give it that flavor, especially to butter.
Hey, Lisa, can you read how much I need? I think it's 2 cups of cream, of half and half, or what do I have?
2 cups, half and half, and 2 cups of cream.
I tell you this pan is so big. Okay, if you don't mind the big one. So I added the roux mixture. Because sometimes I think it's hard to make a roux, not all the time, when you already got so much vegetable and do we have the clam chowder? No, not yet. And then you're melting the butter, you're recooking the vegetables, and then you add the flour. So I made this in a separate pan. And I think the directions say that.
Okay, so 2 cups, half and half.
I'm gonna add a little more salt because it needs some salt. Sometimes I think, yeah. Sometimes I think when you have like a potato, very starchy thing, just like meat, it is good to season it. So we just added 2 cups of half and half. Now why half and half? Because I like it. Sometimes cream can be a little too thick. Cream is that big. Where'd you put it? Is it in the fridge?
No, it was right here. What? It was right here.
Big thing of cream.
By the green water bottle.
By the water bottle?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. We didn't say we were professionals. I was like, good. Did it just jump off the table?
Oh dear.
That's why you cook with friends, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the videos, if you've seen any of them on Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, my YouTube channel, it's just me doing it. I'm learning as I go along, even though I've been doing it for a year. But you know, during COVID time and everything, when you got to do your own photography, your own video, you stop and go. And in fact, hang on for a sec.
Is your phone still on?
Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it, and I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there, and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you, and back to the video.
Man, I hope that uploads. Yeah, I mean, I do a show and I know how many people and everything is involved in doing a show, but doing this by myself, it's like, well, I forget to take the picture at the different, like now, yeah. I forgot to take the pictures at the different stages, but I thought, well, you guys aren't going to want to see all of that. You know, it's boring, you know, because I can't cut and bring you back, cut to commercial and bring you back. So anyway, one person, I follow a lot of people. I love the Rachel Ray show. I love the Food Network, and, you know, some of the people on the cooking channel, you know, now you got to stream everything. You can't get them on cable, or you can, but they're repeats and, you know, stuff like that. But the one thing I love about Rachel Ray, man, she's real. You know, her kitchen has got a lot of stuff all over it. She cooks great meals, but she cooks a lot of meals that everyone can kind of relate to and maybe switch it up and make it their own as well. I mean, she's great. I had the opportunity of being on her show a couple times back in the early years of doing our show, and it was awesome. I loved it. In fact, I received my first Le Creuset, I think that's how you spell it, you say it, pot from that show. And of course, the knobs are a little different now and everything. But anyway, it was great.
Wow, this is starting to smell good.
Yeah, how are we looking here?
Looking good.
Oh, yeah. See, it's not as thick as I thought.
Well, oh, yeah. It's gonna, you have to let it cook. Yeah, that flour isn't really bubbling.
And we'll just turn it up a little bit. Okay, I'm assuming y'all like New England clam chowder soup. Okay. Do you like it thick or a little bit, you know, loosey-goosey?
Definitely thick for sure. Yeah, with crackers.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, crackers are a good thing to crack over and put on top.
Well, I'm thinking that I might have needed a little bit more of the roux, but we're gonna let it cook for a little bit because it was thick in the beginning, we added the cream and the half and half. I debated, you know, yeah, we'll add that. I want to get it, you know, going a little bit.
Let me keep an eye on it.
And before we add the clams, because I don't want to toughen up the clams.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if this thickens it up to, you know, a consistency that I would love. If not, I might have to up that flour to maybe like 2.5 cups. No.
I think it's going to be thick.
Like maybe 3/4 cup of butter and 3/4 cup of flour, just to give it a little more thickness.
Yeah, I don't think the roux is cooked yet because we just kind of all put it together.
Oh, I know, but I cooked it in this pot.
The roux.
And I added it in here. Yeah, this has got to, yeah, this needs time. So anyway, hopefully that'll be done before we all leave. How long has it been? Oh, we've been on for an hour. Do you guys got a little more time? Are we all good?
I'm good.
Okay.
4 minutes.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Alicia?
I have about 20 more minutes. I just have to pick up my kids.
We'll get it done by
We're going to hope that this, you know, thickens up a little bit so I can at least show a bowl to you guys.
Do you want the thyme and the parsley in now? Well,
No, not parsley. We'll add that in the very beginning, but I will definitely add this. We're going to add in the thyme. Once it starts like bubbling a slow boil, I'll add in the pancetta and the clams.
Right now, it's kind of like a potato soup.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not sure if
I'll just watch it. Let it peek it. I got it.
I'll put the lid on. Okay, we'll let that cook for a little bit. Any other? Do we have more questions that they submitted, or any other questions
What's
you all may have?
Favorite genre of music?
Oh man, you know what? I've been asked that question before. Who asked that?
Stephanie and Emily.
Okay, Stephanie and Emily. You know, I like all kinds of music. A lot of times it depends on what mood I'm in. Like going to the farm for pumpkin season, I got country music on. Usually on road trips, I like to go down memory lane. So, you know, obviously I'm a little bit older than you all. And so I will listen, you know, to classic rock or the Eagles or Lionel or kind of like that Phil Collins and Journey and
Frank Sinatra.
Bon Jovi and, you know.
The 40s and 50s.
Well, that depends on what mood I'm in. And so like when I was thinking about my mom and dad a lot and everything, I'll listen to Frank Sinatra or the 40s music or maybe even the 50s. And
yeah.
So basically, it really depends on what mood I'm in. But I usually like the 70s and some of the 80s. Like, you know, I remember in college, Madonna and, you know, all those people.
You guys know who those people are?
I was born in the 80s. So a lot of our childhood was Phil Collins, Madonna, the Eagles, all of that music was what our parents listened to. It was great. Yeah. I still love it.
Parents listen to.
Well, yeah. Well, some of the music that they listen to, I'm like, man, that's really nice. Like, who is that? Of course, I've never heard of it, but it's really good music. But now we got Spotify, and I think it's Spotify and Pandora. I'm like, oh, I have to get hooked up on one of those things. So the kind of music I really don't like is that really hardcore rock where, as my parents thought we were listening to, these people are just screaming. Like, you don't even know what they're talking about. Or rap. But there's some good rap music though too. But in general, I don't like rap. And I also listen to Christian music. Like Toby Mac is kind of like Christian. I mean, rap, but he's a Christian singer. And he's got a band. And I had an opportunity to meet him one time. But I love it. I mean, just the type of rap and everything. And I thought that's great to have somewhat of that variety of music for that genre of style, which is Christian music. But anyway, so
I've been amazed at how he still stays relevant at his age, because he's still relevant to this day, and people are listening to his music, but he's been around forever.
He has,
but music's universal though. And
but to last that long, it's amazing to me. Well, it's like the Rolling Stones are still around.
Rod Stewart just came out with a new album.
I mean, that's just crazy. The one song I like, Help Is On the Way by Toby Mac. Love that song. That's a new one that he's got out now. But anyway.
I still want this to burn.
It's not going to burn.
Okay.
I'm going to chop this up a little bit. I did cook my pancetta, but just like bacon, I didn't want big chunks of all of it. So I'm just going to do a rough chop here. Make it a little bit smaller pieces. So you got just a little bit floating through. How many, well, you guys live in Pennsylvania, so you might have done this or had an opportunity to travel there. Has any of you traveled to Massachusetts, Boston, and any of that?
Yeah, I actually went to college in Vermont. So I've spent a lot of time in New England. Yeah, so I've been to Boston, Massachusetts, all that good stuff. Lots of good seafood.
You know where Stowe, Vermont is?
I do. My gym class was snowboarding at Stowe, which was wild.
My daughter lives in Boston, and they have a vacation home up in Stowe that we go and visit.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
So we'll get out there again here pretty soon. But yeah, that was the coldest I've ever been in my whole life. We went really cold. I think it was like 10 below. And we got to the rental car from the airport, and my hands felt like they were going to break off, and I could hardly breathe just walking to the rental car. That was cold.
Yeah. Have you ever had Boston or New England clam chowder out there?
I have. Delicious.
And what do they have in it that's different from what I'm doing? Because it's been a while since I've been actually out there, and I can't remember.
I haven't seen pancetta. I like that that's being added. I've never seen that. I feel like bacon, if anything, but I've never used pancetta or seen that. So that I'm excited to try that on my own.
Bacon, but I think it has I don't know. I'm not going to say a little less fat, but it cooks up quicker. You can crisp it up a little better, and it's very slim layered. But you also can get big chunks of pancetta too, and then cut it up in, smaller chunks and everything like that. I'm not going to say it's a little, it's saltier. You just may not get the different flavors of bacon, because you can get peppered bacon, you can get, different flavors of bacon, but I just thought pancetta would be a nice touch to this.
Cup and a half, 2 cups?
Well, I did 2 packages.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to use some of this as just a layer of a garnish. Or you can add here. I'll put a little more in.
Now what about the parsley?
And then we're going to add in all our shrimp.
Clams.
Oh, yeah, shrimp. Oh, my goodness. That would be a sad story, wouldn't that be? We're going to add in the rest of our clam, or all of our clams, and
the fresh one.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
The few that I was able to shop.
You're weird.
Oh, Lord. All right. Living on the farm in the early years when my kids were young, we raised pigs and we butchered them. And, we had someone, without being graphic too much. Yeah, we'll add just one little shake, because I don't want it too hot.
We're going to add a little red pepper.
I would just do 1 shake. Or if you don't think that's enough that came out, you can do another one.
I got it.
I just don't want it like too hot, too spicy.
Yeah.
Because I think it should be that nice, rich, creamy flavor. Anyway, okay, we shot the pigs at the farm, and we had a food processor, butchered the pigs and, do its thing. Well, the boys were young, and Matt's like, oh yeah, let the kids come out. I'm like, no. Sometimes you don't need to, you kind of like need to understand the process. You don't always need to have a visual of the process. And so doing the clams is one of those things. I wanted to give it a try because, I'm not having them in a restaurant where they're all doctored up and, whatever. But I thought, you know, it's always nice sometimes to go through the process and just see. But I will probably not do real clams again because I don't think I know how to really clean them.
Wait till we try it though and taste a canned clam versus a real clam.
Oh, I think the real clam will be better. But it's like, what do you keep and not keep of this little itty bitty piece of meat? But anyway, chopped clams is good too. I think you may need more cans than you realize because half of it is just the juice.
Mm-hmm. And if you have like a Sam's Club or a Costco, I know they have the larger canned clams and they're supposed to be delicious. So that might be an option too. And a little bit of Maryhill, which is local winery. Washington.
Oh yeah.
Rosé. Gotta have a little taste.
I mean, if you don't know, I'm a big fan of local. I love my local farmers market. And during pumpkin season, I was bummed that I wasn't able to finish it out and go there because, you know, we're open on Saturdays and stuff. This weekend, it might be rainy, so I'm in a big debate as to, okay, what am I going to dress up as?
Oh,
because I'm going to need an umbrella.
Deb and I were going to come out this weekend. It's supposed to rain.
Well, haven't you been listening to the weather?
No.
Why not, man?
Because it's been so nice.
Well, when you're a farmer, you have to listen to the weather. So did I get some bowls? Oh yeah, here's some bowls. I think these might be a little big. These are a little big?
No, then we can see what it looks like. We'll do these. You guys, it smells delicious and it's thick. So good job, Amy.
Now, I know a lot of people will use those little oyster crackers, which are absolutely fabulous because I love them.
Oh yeah,
for a dinner meal or something like that, because Chris would definitely add it to them on top of having bread. I like having bread and heating that up or toasting it just a little bit, because when you got some of that broth, that cream, you know, you can just, you know, soak it up with that bread. I have some in the fridge.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay.
Crusty French bread.
Well, we're going to heat this up a little bit. Warm it up, microwave. Okay, one of the things I'm really excited about in my kitchen, oh yeah, you guys can see it. I'm going to get rid of this microwave because I want this opened up. I never think a fan is strong enough on a microwave over the stove.
Yeah, exhaust.
So we're going to get rid of this because I have another microwave in my corner of my kitchen on a little stand that, you know, I mean, I only use a microwave to melt stuff, heat stuff up. I don't cook in it except maybe popcorn. And then a real fan, but I'm excited because, you know, this is my kitchen. I'm going to get a new stove top here, and then the open part of the wall where the microwave is removed. If we need any sheetrock work, Chris has been a sheetrocker, so he'll know what to do. But get fancier tile so it would have a little decorative stuff. But I'm hoping for these little cooking things that I do, it just brightens up the kitchen and doesn't feel like you're going into something.
Like a hood, an overhead hood?
Yes, an overhead hood.
I think this is done.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it off.
Well, let's warm up this bread a little bit because I use this one and I'm going to get rid of. You know, I'm going to use this one over there.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. On your clam chowder, have you ever put cheese on it?
This is a garnish.
No.
I've had cheese on it. Yeah.
As a what?
She's had cheese on it, but some are yes, some are no.
Who's a yes?
I have. I've had thick like cheddar on it. Grated cheddar. Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did, but I love cheese. So I'm never gonna not like cheese.
Okay, Emily, you were a flat. You were a flat. No. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to, you know, words.
You're good.
Why not? Just, you know, it doesn't do anything for you?
I've just never had it with cheese. I love cheese. I'm more than willing to. I've just never had it with it.
Why? No, you're having cheese on yours. Why are you skipping it? You told me to use this cheese.
You wanted the cheese.
Oh, brothers.
We're like Lucy and Ethel.
No, you said, oh, use the cheese.
No, I said use the butter.
Oh, brothers.
Not the cheese.
Well, we're putting cheese on yours. You're going to see how it tastes. I would only use cheese as like a little garnish. I've gone to some restaurants and I've had it. But I think one reason why people don't want the cheese, because you got potatoes in here. It's a cream-based soup. So you don't want to feel like you're also having like a potato clam soup. This is Boston. This is New England clam chowder.
Do you want these toasted a little more?
No, we don't have time for that.
Add some butter dish.
Okay. Let's dish this baby up. Woo-hoo. Lisa lives about 45 minutes away from me, so she has graciously come here, you know, to be in my kitchen to help me with this. And so I said, well, you know what?
It's not that far.
If you come on out, guess what? You get a free meal.
Yeah.
So
I live in Happy Valley, so downtown Portland is on one side, is in the middle. She's on the west side. I'm on the east side.
yes, yeah, I like this.
It's really thick. How can we show them?
I don't know, but I wish I had better.
Here.
I think it's in the pantry, but I'll show it to them. Hang on. I wish you guys could taste it and smell it. Okay, this is the soup. Can you see that there? I hope it looks good. But see, I like it.
Really good.
You get to see a lot of the, now why it's not so white. I might have done the roux just a tad too long, but I think this is still good.
Oh yeah.
But you know, you know what's like in it. You can see the little carrots, the little specks of carrot, and you know, I'm hoping there's enough clams. The potatoes are bite sized. They're not these big hunky pieces or whatever. But, anyway, you can fit things on a spoon and actually, you know, put it in your mouth and have a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna just put just a little bit of parsley on here, and I'm just gonna use a little bit of cheese. Tell you the truth, I was gonna do a little pancetta for the garnish, but it's already in the soup. I don't think you need it on top. So yeah. So that's my version of New England clam chowder. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna make some tweaks on this recipe. I will resend it to you guys. If by chance you have a chance to make it, I don't care if it's tomorrow or 3 months from now, and you wanna, you know, email Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, I'd love for you to give me your input on it, or maybe what you changed, because I don't know, I'm always interested in that. And
we have to taste it.
Oh yeah. Do any of you guys watch my videos, my cooking videos, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen? It's okay.
I watch them on
send
Instagram.
Yep.
I do. I send them on Instagram to my sister. I've made your cheesecake and I love that recipe.
Okay.
So good.
Pumpkin cheesecake is coming your way. I absolutely love it. I shared it with, which I don't think it's going to be too much. In fact, I'm going to look at my original cheesecake recipe and see, you know, what's the change in it. I gave it to my son, Jeremy and Audrey, because Chris and I are like, man, we'd be blimps if we ate the entire thing. Chris is already like, yeah, I'm telling my friends that, yeah, this is what married life does to me.
I know you're cooking all the time.
But they really loved it, and Audrey wants the recipe, so it's always nice. And I love her because she'd be frank. She'd be like, oh, well, it maybe needs this or this. So they loved it. So I was really happy about that.
Okay, we have to try a bite. Are you ready?
Oh, I like that. It's hot.
It's super hot. It is excellent.
You know what I think it just needs? Probably not though.
A little salt?
No, not salt. No.
What?
Pepper.
Oh,
just a little sprinkle of pepper. Want some?
Yeah. Thank you.
I feel like I'm in a restaurant. Oh, would you like some pepper?
Okay, you guys have to try making this. It is delicious. It's creamy.
Yeah, I think it's
got every bite has a little piece of either carrot or celery or potato.
And the one thing I like about a creamy soup too is I want my spoon to have something always in it. I don't want to be, put my spoon in a soup and come up with just the broth or the cream.
Yeah.
When it's a creamy soup, because, let's face it, this is probably a little fattening, but who cares? On a cold winter's night.
I know, this is
chili
food.
Yeah,
Total
this is like just warms you up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you guys have to try and make it.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I appreciate you guys willing to be here and, just kind of chit chat and kind of do this little New England clam chowder with me. I really appreciate that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And thanks for following me, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. And if you, whatever your social media is, I'd love for you to ask people to follow me on, the YouTube channel. Yeah. But is there any other last questions or anything you want to ask?
No, just thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you at the farm.
Oh, I hope so too, because I will be there, rain or shine.
Yes, and please email back your contact information. We have a little gift we'd like to send you today for being on with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other thing is, if you do watch the show or think it's still on or whatever it may be, the wedding episode may be coming out in November. So check that out.
Hey. Yes. I'm sure it'll be amazing.
I just had an opportunity to see the preview of it, a little bit of the preview. And not that we get to change anything really in the preview, but it just gives us an idea of, what they're putting out there and stuff. Oh my gosh, they could have made this. Well, they could have made it into a 3-hour episode, but for the audience, it probably would have been boring. For me, I would say, yeah, man, you captured everything.
Yeah.
So,
it'll be exciting. And she just looks gorgeous in her dress. And Chris, he owned that day.
Oh my gosh, he did.
So
I
can't wait for it.
I married a good man. I married a very good man.
So. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. So like I said, you'll get an updated recipe, and we've got a small gift for you. Just out of appreciation of taking the time, not only following me, but responding and, being on here. I have a ball. And we do. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you guys, and happy holidays.
Cheers.
All
Cheers.
Right.